Yo, 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 it's your favorite anime slash manga enjoyer Shields here, and chapter 167 of One Punch Man is certified gas pack. This chapter, I don't know how it topped last chapter, but it did. So there's a lot to unpack here. Without further ado, let's just get into it. Spoilers, obviously. So, like in my last review, I mentioned how I figured Blast was going to teleport Garu and Saitama off planet, and he did do this. He teleports them into the space outside of Earth. And while they're in the space outside of Earth, both Garu and Saitama's punches collide, creating a serious punch squared. And the blowback of this is so huge. An explosion happens that is so huge that Blast starts to freak out that Earth is going to get destroyed in the just from the blowback of the explosion. So as Blast is trying to figure out what to do and get this explosion away from Earth, the silhouettes of the Justice League or whoever these other god fighters are that help Blast out show up, and they're like, "Hey, never underestimate Earth, man." And they blow back and help Blast blow back the explosion. And while the explosion gets blown back, we get a crazy page, and this page shows something very interesting that I kind of want to talk more in depth right now. So let's get into it. So the page in question is going to be this page right here. And as we see the explosion getting blown back from Earth, we see a moon with a spine in it. So this is what turned my theory brain on and made me start thinking like crazy. So I got a little theory here for you guys. So if you guys can remember back to chapter 138, where Saitama, Flashy Flash, and that little Mike Wazowski monster stumbled upon what seemed like a giant godlike figure in the fetal position, I think that there are certain planets, and Earth is one of these, and this is what we saw in chapter 138. I think certain planets have god-like figures laying dormant in them, and what we saw in chapter 138 was Earth's godlike figure laying dormant in there. So maybe some of these gods are good, maybe some of them are evil, and the god that's taking control of Garu right now might be one from a completely different planet that we don't know about, or something to that extent. So I think there might have to be an event that awakens these gods and awakens these planets that have the gods inside of them. And this Garu and Saitama fight might just be that event. As Blast mentions, the gates are beginning to tear apart, and perhaps when they tear apart, all these planets with gods laying dormant in them will awaken and come out. So hopefully in the next couple of chapters, maybe Blast will actually explain this to us and what these planets are and why these gods are like laying in them in the fetal position and why he fights them and why he collects all these cubes. So just a little theory for you guys. Maybe there are planets out there that are special that have gods laying dormant in them. The Battle of the Cosmos now begins with Garu and Saitama landing on one of the moons of Jupiter. Upon landing on the moon, Saitama gets a weird sensation of deja vu and feels like he's been there before. But he's quick to realize that he can now go all out and use all of his power on Garu with no repercussions whatsoever. He also realizes that he has Genos' core and he needs to keep a tight grip on it so he doesn't lose it. Yeah, this page kind of broke me, I'm not gonna lie, it made me very sad. But anyway, Saitama then states to Garu that he will only need one fist to beat the crap out of Garu, as he will use his other hand to hold Genos' core. This pisses Garu off a lot. So he creates a portal, one of the portals that Blast actually used on him, underneath of Saitama's legs, to which Saitama just kicks away like it's a rag or t-shirt on the ground. And he looks at Garu and is like, "Come on, dude, like you can't use these tricks on me, like fight me with your fists." And this actually infuriates Garu. Like he was mad before, and now he's even more mad. And he unleashes all the martial art techniques that he knows on Saitama, and all this does is rip Saitama's uniform apart. So if you think about it right now, Saitama hates having his uniform destroyed. And one of the reasons why is because Genos is going to have to sew it back up for him. But there's no Genos to sew or make a uniform for him again. So think about that. So Saitama is actually mad right now. Like he's in a headspace that we've never seen him in before. He's about to go berserk, like straight up. And he does the craziest move to date in the series. This dude Saitama gets his hand sticks it in the surface of the moon, and just lifts up half of the moon like that, half of the planet, and lifts it up like that and creates a bunch of rubble all just floating in the space. And he uses the rubble as sonic bounce pads to make after images of himself like Naruto, like a shadow clone jutsu, to all attack Garu at once. And all these Saitamas are coming at Garu at once, to which Garu responds with a portal because he stole that from Blast. So he figures he can just go down to the portal, be fine, and he'll escape all this. But no, Saitama is in the portal right there with him and punches him out of it. So at this point, Garu realizes that he is screwed. He is like a bug in a glass container. There's nowhere for him to go. He is just stuck. And he's just going to keep getting the crap beaten out of him. But right here is when he has the realization that he needs to copy Saitama's abilities limitlessly and to the point that Saitama can't fight him anymore. And that is where chapter 167 of One Punch Man ends. Honestly, this chapter was 11 out of 10. I mean, the artwork in this chapter was crazy. We got some crazy like color pages and like pages of like planets colored and all that and Milky Ways, everything. I mean, beautiful artwork. Shout out to Murata and One and the team behind this. I mean, this chapter it blew my expectations away, and I cannot wait for next month. And I'll see you guys then. Peace.